Right now, at this exact moment, your dog might be looking at you and trying to tell you something is wrong. Not with a bark, not with a whine, but with something so small, so easy to miss, that most owners scroll right past it every single day, a tiny change in the eyes. And by the time most people notice, it's already been building for weeks. Stick with me for the next few minutes, because sign number 4 on this list is the one almost every dog owner misses, and it could be sitting right in front of you tonight. Before we go any further, if you love dogs and you want more videos like this one, hit that subscribe button and tap the like button right now. It genuinely helps this channel keep making content that helps dogs live longer, healthier, happier lives, and it only takes a second. Okay, let's get into it. Here's something most people never really think about. Dogs can't tell you when something feels off. They can't say, "My eye has been itchy since Tuesday," or "Things look a little blurry today." Instead, their body, and especially their eyes, does the talking for them. And because dogs are naturally good at hiding discomfort, a survival instinct left over from their wild ancestors, the signs are often subtle at first. That's exactly why so many eye problems in dogs go unnoticed until they've already become serious. This video is about giving you the awareness to catch those signs early so you're never caught off guard. Let's start with one of the most common signs, and one you've probably already seen without realizing what it meant: redness. A healthy dog's eyes should have clean, white areas surrounding a clear, dark pupil. When that white area turns pink or red, it's the eye's way of raising a flag. Sometimes it's something as simple as a bit of dust or pollen. But redness that sticks around, especially in just one eye, or that keeps coming back, is not something to brush off as probably nothing. Picture a dog named Bailey, a friendly Labrador who loved rolling around in the backyard every afternoon. Her owner noticed one eye looked a little pink one evening and figured it was just from playing in the grass. A few days later, that same eye looked worse, not better. That small, easy-to-ignore redness turned out to be the very first clue that something was building beneath the surface. Next, let's talk about discharge, because not all discharge is the same, and the type matters. A little bit of clear, watery discharge now and then is usually normal, especially after a nap or a walk on a windy day. But when you start noticing thick discharge, or discharge that's yellow, green, or crusty, especially first thing in the morning, that's a very different story. It often means the eye is dealing with something more than everyday dust. And if you ever notice your dog's eyelids are stuck together after waking up, that's not something to wait out. Think of it like this. If a human woke up every morning with their eyes glued shut by crust, they wouldn't shrug it off as, "No big deal." Dogs deserve that same level of attention. Now here's a sign that's incredibly easy to miss, because it looks almost cute at first squinting. A dog squinting one eye more than the other might just look like they're being playful or sleepy. But excessive blinking, or one eye staying more closed than the other, especially when it's paired with pawing at the face, is often a sign of discomfort or pain. Dogs squint for the same basic reason people do, because something is bothering the eye and closing it partially feels like relief. If you notice your dog squinting consistently, especially in bright light, or rubbing that side of their face against furniture, carpet, or your leg, pay close attention. That rubbing motion is your dog literally trying to tell you where the problem is. Let's slow down here for a second, because this next one is the sign most owners genuinely never notice until it's advanced cloudiness. A healthy dog's eye is clear and glassy, almost like glass marbles. When you start to see a bluish-gray haze or a milky white film developing over the eye, that's a change worth paying very close attention to. Sometimes, this kind of cloudiness develops so slowly, over weeks or even months, that owners simply adjust without realizing anything changed at all. It's a little like the story of an old dog named Duke, a sweet German shepherd whose owner swore he was just getting more careful as he aged, bumping into the edge of the couch here and there. It wasn't until a family member visiting for the holidays pointed out how cloudy his eyes looked compared to photos from the year before that the family truly noticed the change. That's the tricky thing about slow changes. The people who see your dog every day are often the last to notice them, simply because the change happens right in front of their eyes, one tiny day at a time. This brings us to something a lot of people don't even know to look for: the size of the pupils. Normally, both of a dog's pupils should be the same size and should react together when light changes, getting smaller in bright light and larger in dim light. If you ever notice that one pupil looks bigger than the other, or that one eye seems to be reacting differently to light than the other, that's considered an important warning sign. It's the kind of thing you'd only catch if you actually looked closely, which is exactly why so many people miss it. A simple way to check, just as general awareness, is noticing how your dog's eyes look in different lighting throughout the day, near a window, under a lamp, outside in daylight, and getting a feel for what looks normal for your particular dog. Let's talk about something a little more visible, but still often misunderstood: that third eyelid. Dogs actually have an extra eyelid tucked into the inner corner of the eye that most people never even notice because it's usually hidden. But sometimes this third eyelid becomes more visible, creeping up over part of the eye. Owners often describe it as looking like a pink or reddish film sliding in from the corner. If you start noticing this extra eyelid showing more than usual, especially if it stays up rather than retracting normally, that's worth watching closely. It's one of those signs it's almost impossible to notice unless you actually know to look for it, which is exactly why we're covering it here. Now, swelling is another one worth mentioning because it can show up in different ways. Sometimes it's puffiness around the eyelid itself. Other times, the eye might look like it's bulging slightly or sitting differently than it used to. Swelling can come from all sorts of things, from something as minor as an insect bite to something that needs more attention. The key here isn't to panic over every little puffiness. Dogs get minor swelling sometimes, just like people do, but rather to notice when it doesn't go away within a reasonable amount of time, or when it seems to be getting worse rather than better. Here's a sign that's less about what the eye looks like and more about how your dog is behaving: changes in vision-related behavior. This is subtle, but if you know what to look for, it becomes obvious. Has your dog started bumping into furniture that's always been in the same place? Are they hesitant to go downstairs they used to fly down without a second thought? Do they seem startled more easily, especially by things approaching from the side? These behavioral shifts are often connected to changes in how well a dog can see. And because dogs adapt so well using their sense of smell and hearing, these changes can go unnoticed for a surprisingly long time. Think about a dog named Coco, a spirited little terrier mix who used to chase tennis balls across the yard without missing a beat. Her owner noticed she started missing balls that landed just a few feet to her left, and at first just laughed it off as Coco getting lazy. Looking back, that missed catch was actually one of the earliest clues that something with her vision had shifted. Light sensitivity is another sign worth knowing about. If your dog suddenly seems bothered by bright light, squinting hard when you turn on a lamp or step outside on a sunny day, or seems to prefer dim rooms more than usual, that discomfort with light can be connected to what's happening in the eyes. It's easy to mistake this for a personality quirk. Some dogs just seem to like cozy, dim spots, but a sudden change in this behavior, especially combined with any of the other signs we've talked about, is worth paying attention to. Let's also touch on something visual, but often overlooked: visible blood vessels, or a change in eye color over time. Just like the whites of human eyes can show tiny red streaks when tired or irritated, a dog's eyes can show similar changes. And sometimes the overall color or clarity of the iris, the colored part of the eye, can shift gradually. Because this kind of change happens slowly, it's another one of those signs that's much easier to catch if you're actively paying attention rather than just glancing at your dog in passing. There's also a sign that hides in plain sight, especially on lighter colored dogs' persistent tear staining. A little bit of reddish-brown staining under the eyes is common in certain breeds and often just comes down to genetics or minor tear duct drainage. But when staining suddenly increases, spreads further down the face, or starts smelling different than usual, that's a change worth noticing rather than just wiping away and moving on. On the flip side, some dogs show the opposite problem eyes that look dry, dull, or lacking their usual shine, sometimes paired with more blinking than normal. A healthy eye tends to have a soft, glossy look to it, almost like it's catching the light. When that shine disappears and the surface starts to look flat or slightly rough, it's often the eye telling you it isn't as comfortable as it should be. Neither of these signs means something is definitely seriously wrong, but both are exactly the kind of small, easy to dismiss details that are worth mentioning to a professional if they stick around. One more important area of awareness is breed. Some breeds are simply more prone to eye-related issues because of their physical structure. Breeds with shorter noses and flatter faces, like pugs, French bulldogs, and boxers, tend to have eyes that sit more prominently, which can make them more sensitive to irritation and injury. Breeds with loose, droopy skin around the face, like bloodhounds, can be more prone to irritation from eyelids that don't sit quite as snugly as they should. This doesn't mean these breeds are destined to have problems. It simply means that if you share your life with one of these dogs, a little extra awareness goes a long way. Age is another factor worth understanding. Just like people, dogs experience natural changes to their eyes as they get older. A little bit of haziness in senior dogs can sometimes just be part of normal aging, which is exactly why it's so important to know your own dog's normal baseline. So you can tell the difference between this is just Buddy getting older and this is a new change that showed up in the last few weeks. So what can you actually do with all of this information? The most powerful tool you have isn't some special product or complicated routine. It's simply consistent, gentle observation. Get into the habit of really looking at your dog's eyes every few days, not in a worried, clinical way, but as a normal part of the bond you already share. Notice what's normal for your specific dog, because normal can look a little different from one dog to the next. Keep the fur around the eyes gently trimmed and clean if your dog's breed tends to collect debris there, and gently wipe away everyday gunk with a soft, damp cloth, the same way you'd wipe a bit of sleep from the corner of your own eyes in the morning. Pay attention to how your dog reacts to light, to how confidently they move through familiar spaces, and to whether both eyes always seem to match each other in appearance and behavior. If you ever notice any of the signs we've talked about today, redness that doesn't go away, unusual discharge, excessive squinting, cloudiness, uneven pupils, a visible third eyelid, swelling, sudden changes in vision-related behavior, or sensitivity to light, please don't try to diagnose or treat it yourself, and don't wait to see if it resolves on its own. These signs can point to a wide range of causes, some minor, some more serious, and only a licensed veterinarian with the right tools and a hands-on examination can tell you exactly what's going on and what your dog actually needs. This video is meant purely to help you build awareness so you notice changes early and get your dog seen sooner rather than later, not to replace professional veterinary care in any way. Please consult your vet for a proper diagnosis if you notice anything unusual with your dog's eyes. If this video helped you see your dog's eyes in a whole new way, do 3 quick things before you go. Drop a comment and tell us which sign surprised you the most. We genuinely read every single one. Share this video with another dog owner in your life, because this kind of awareness might help them catch something early too. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you never miss the next video, helping you take even better care of your best friend. Give your dog a little extra scratch behind the ears from us today, and we'll see you in the next one.